Okay, so we'll easily wrap up this chapter. That's what we have on the schedule. Okay, finish this, and then tomorrow, when it says activity, I do believe we will look at crayfish over in the lab. And there's, of course, parts that you would be able to identify. Of course, there's a exoskeleton. They've got chelicipeds. They've got, for locomotion, there's a specialized appendage that they have. Starts with an S. I don't know why you know that. Maybe it would. I think we talked about in class. Of course, they have lots of swimmerettes on them, and along with their walking legs. But as far as senses are concerned, they also have antennial glands on there. I think there's actually a green gland inside as well. That's, you could say, is very similar to a spleen, I believe, in humans. Okay, so this is where we left off with last time. So then this is where we would pick up today. So when we think of insect flight, when you look at these two, which would possibly be more complex, the direct flight muscles or indirect, would you think? Think about that maybe for a moment or so. So I think probably one of the closest relations to these would be that of grasshoppers. And the reason that we would like to establish it this way is these can end up, probably more so common with flies, of course, that would end up in the entanglement of a spider's web. Okay? With any type of animal, why would that be the case that they end up being entangled in there? Why not just avoid it? And it's a fairly complex question. And the reason we say that is they just don't see it. Same thing with that of birds, the small invertebrates. They probably fly into these because they just can't see the web, because it is just so, let's say, a fine structure. But let's just go with the presumption that these two animals, I don't think it's very common for bees to get tangled up in, probably because it's, I wouldn't say in different environments. I'm just not familiar with it. It's just maybe they let them go because they really don't want to be harmed by those animals. Maybe that's possible. But these, of course, are probably the most common diet. But let's just go with the presumption that they do see the web. How is it that they could avoid that? Same thing with mosquitoes, because one of the things we said in class, you're walking along, and as you're moving forward, the insects, they're not hitting you in the face. They should, but they don't. Say that again? You're probably right. Yes, they can fly backwards, okay? So then, if that's the case, when we look at these types of animals, yes, they can, of course, we just associate grasshoppers with jumping like this and flying, and maybe can do some directional flight, but these animals cannot do what? Can't fly backwards, okay? So just the way the animals are, the wings are designed, probably more than anything else, It's not the muscles perhaps that do that, but rather, oh, is that it? I was thinking there was something about synchronous and asynchronous. Oh, okay. Oh, that is. Okay. So when we think of those types of, it's the flapping of the wings, okay? You might have to look in your textbook for that. But how is flight different than your garden variety housefly as opposed to that of butterflies? Okay? I mean, it's hard to mistake a butterfly as opposed to a housefly. For one, the size, but even as you're looking at a butterfly, how do you know that that's a butterfly when it's flapping its wings? Yeah, it's a lot slower, where these animals, okay, it's a lot faster. All right, so that does it for chapter 11. Again, we'll have some sort of activity. I have to check on the crayfish. Maybe we will look at lubers. Those I know I do have. And we will review then on Wednesday, and two-part exam on Thursday and Friday. And then next week we will continue our reviewing process. All right, so the rest of the time then is yours. You have a little bit over a half hour. So if you're done, then it's one less thing to have to worry about. And again, we'll wrap this up tomorrow with our activity and get this chapter out of the way because the semester is winding down fairly quickly. We will catch up to you next time, just like on Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. Hey, we got it right. You know, the head bopping helped, believe it or not. Not you. Yeah, it was her. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. That was our outro, the reindeer. Yeah, cracking the whip on our reindeer in here. All right, catch up to you next time.